Okay, so Matthew, what are your thoughts on that? Because there is some. It's an uncomfortable truth, isn't it, Matthew, when it comes to the U.S. role vis-a-vis oil in the region? I mean, I went back to Iraq in my introduction because that's a big one that stands out, where a lot of people said the U.S. went to war in Iraq to be able to gain control over the oil resources. Are we sort of seeing a repeat of that, or are we maybe reading too much into this?
I think we're definitely reading too much into both this situation and the Iraq war as well. I worked at the White House during the planning and execution of that war. In fact, I was there for 4 years. And I can tell you, you may or may not believe me, but sitting in on various planning meetings, controlling the oil was never an objective. Making sure the oil could flow to global markets unimpededly, that was a goal and remains one in other parts of the world. But if you look at what actually happened after the war, the U.S. gained no control of Iraqi oil. There's one major U.S. company in Iraq. It's ExxonMobil, but they're not in the federal part of Iraq. They're in the Kurdish region, and that's created a lot of enmity with the federal government in Baghdad. In this case of Syria, these are very small deposits of oil. It's low-quality oil. It's oil that cannot be easily developed by a private U.S. company because the investment climate is so terrible. And it's not clear how that oil could ever be exported from Syria, given that Syria is, as we know, in a state of civil war. So I think we are reading too much into
Matthew, if I may come in,
whole...
because, Donald Trump, he doesn't see it that way, right? Donald Trump's already suggested, and he did this on Sunday, I believe, that ExxonMobil could get involved in those oil fields. So, I mean, it almost seems like this is working with not only U.S. business interests, but even Donald Trump's business interests. Possibly he's trying to, keep everybody happy.
I think this is a classic case of President Trump speaking before he's thought things through and before he actually has a policy across the government. My understanding from my friends in Washington is that what happened was President Trump faced brutal criticism for pulling out U.S. troops.